Lower your lights, and listen carefully. Welcome to Dark Frame, where every story is carefully framed, and every truth is slightly distorted. Here nothing is what it seems. Voices can't be trusted, memories lie, and the ending is never what you expect. So stay focused, watch closely, because once you enter Dark Frame, there's no turning back. Welcome to Shadows in Elm Creek, where the quietest towns hide the darkest secrets. In the summer of 2019, in a sleepy little spot in Ohio called Elm Creek, folks went about their days like nothing could ever change. Kids on bikes, barbecues in backyards, everybody knowing everybody's name. But one sticky July morning, everything shattered. Old Harlan Thorpe, the richest, meanest man in town, was found in his fancy lakeside cabin. Slumped in his armchair, a kitchen knife buried deep in his chest, blood everywhere. The safe cracked open, valuables gone. Looked like a robbery gone wrong. Or did it? Because in Elm Creek, nothing's ever what it seems. Family secrets, stolen money, old grudges, and poison, slow, silent poison, working its way through veins long before that knife ever struck. This is the story of a man who died, or so everyone thought. A family torn apart by lies. A maid who knew too much. And a twist so cold, it'll make you question every whisper you've ever heard in a small town. Turn off the lights, lock your doors, and let's step into the fog. Because in Elm Creek, the dead don't always stay gone.
Elm Creek was one of those small Ohio towns where time moved slow, like molasses on a cold morning. Big oak trees lined the streets, kids played pickup basketball till the streetlights buzzed on, and everybody waved whether they knew you or not. But under that calm surface, grudges simmered, secrets festered, and money talked louder than anything else. Harlan Thorpe owned damn near everything worth owning, thousands of acres of timberland, the biggest sawmill for 50 miles, and a shiny new lakeside cabin that looked like it belonged in a magazine. He was 68, mean as a rattlesnake, and twice as quick to bite. Folks said he got rich the old-fashioned way, hard work, harder deals, and stepping on anybody who got in his path. His wife Lila was the opposite, soft-spoken, always baking pies for church suppers, the kind of woman who remembered your birthday even if you'd only met once. But everybody knew Harlan had run around on her for years. She stayed anyway. Love? Fear? Habit? Nobody asked out loud. They had 2 grown kids. Tommy, 32, the golden boy who left for Cleveland right after high school, chasing music deals that never quite happened. He came home maybe once a year, usually asking for cash. Becky, 29, stayed put. Quiet, bookish, handled the office books at the mill. She never complained, but her eyes carried something heavy. Harlan's right-hand man was Gus Riley. Big shoulders, bigger mouth, always smelled faintly of sawdust and cheap whiskey. He and Harlan had been partners 20 years. But lately every meeting ended in yelling matches over that damn new tract up north. Then there was Rosie Morales, the housekeeper who'd worked for the Thorpes for years. Mid-40s, polite smile, kept to herself. She cleaned, cooked, listened. People barely noticed her come and go. It all blew up on July 12th, a humid Thursday morning. Rosie unlocked the cabin door at 8 a.m. sharp, same as always. The place smelled wrong, coppery, sour. Furniture was tipped over in the living room, drawers yanked out, papers everywhere. And in the big armchair facing the stone fireplace sat Harlan. Or what was left of him. A kitchen knife, plain old butcher knife from his own block, jutted from his chest like a flagpole. Blood had dried in a wide dark fan across his white shirt. His eyes were open, staring at nothing. Rosie dropped her cleaning bucket and screamed so loud a fisherman out on the lake heard it. Sheriff Dan Murphy rolled up 10 minutes later, lights flashing but no siren. Elm Creek didn't need the drama. Dan was 55, divorced, lived alone with 2 hunting dogs. He chewed toothpicks instead of smoking anymore. His deputy, Pete Callahan, 24 and eager, followed like a puppy. Dan crouched by the body. "Well, hell," he muttered. Safe in the wall gaped open, empty. Harlan's Rolex, the one he bragged about nonstop, was gone. No broken windows, no jimmied locks. Inside job, Dan said. Somebody he trusted. The town exploded with talk. Diner booths filled up early. Tommy's back in town, bet he finally snapped. Nah, Gus owed Harlan a fortune. They fought Tuesday night at the mill. Lila? Sweet Lila? Come on. Maybe Becky, she's the quiet one, always plotting. Dan worked the angles. Lila first. She sat at her kitchen table in the big house on Maple Street, hands folded tight. He'd been jumpy lately, she said. Kept saying someone's gonna get me. I thought it was just talk. She claimed bingo at the community center till 10 p.m. the night before. 6 ladies confirmed it. Gus next. He was in his office at the mill, boots on the desk, pretending he wasn't sweating. We argued, yeah? About money. But I left him breathing. I was at O'Malley's till midnight. Ask anybody. 6 guys nodded yes. Tommy was holed up at the Pineview Motel, room 14, curtains drawn. He looked rough, 3-day stubble, red eyes. Dad cut me off cold 2 years ago, he said. I came back cause he called, said he had a proposition. We talked money. That's it. I was driving around after, alone. No alibi. Becky cried when Dan interviewed her at the mill. I was home with a book. Dad, he favored Tommy growing up. Always said I'd never amount to much, but I wouldn't hurt him. Her voice cracked. Dan noticed she wouldn't meet his eyes when he asked about the will. Clues started piling. Rosie found a woman's glove in the cabin trash, bloody, small, embroidered with an L. Lila swore it vanished from her drawer weeks earlier. Someone's setting me up. In Harlan's study, Dan found a stack of typed letters, no return address. You cheated me. Pay what's owed or pay with blood. Postmarked Cleveland, Tommy's city. Old Mrs. Wilkins across the lake called in a tip. Lights on late the night before. Saw a figure creeping round the back. Thought it was raccoons till now. Dan hiked the woods trail behind the cabin. Found an old hunting shed nobody used anymore. Inside, Harlan's Rolex wrapped in an oily rag. And a spiral notebook, Harlan's handwriting. Pages of debts, payoffs, circled names. Gus's name had 3 red circles and crook, underlined twice. Tommy bolted the next day. Dan tracked him to a rundown motel outside Akron. Tommy was shaking. Dad told me Gus was stealing company funds. Showed me proof, fake invoices. Said we'd split whatever we recovered. Then, Dad's dead. Someone's coming for me next. Dan brought Gus in hard. Gus folded fast. Yeah, I cooked the books a little. Harlan found out. We fought bad. But I swear, he was alive when I stormed out. I didn't touch no knife. Becky cracked next morning, sobbing in the interview room. Dad changed his will last month. Everything to me. Said Tommy was a lost cause and Mom, he thought she was still seeing Gus. Lila, when confronted, broke down. One mistake years ago. Harlan said he forgave me. Guess he lied. Dan couldn't sleep. Sat on his porch with a beer, staring at the stars. Something nagged him. The scene felt theatrical. Too much blood for one stab. Harlan's face wasn't twisted in pain, it was calm. Almost relieved. Autopsy report landed like a bomb, high levels of warfarin, rat poison, in his system. Slow buildup over days. He'd been weak, dizzy, barely able to stand. The knife wound? Made after death. Someone staged the robbery to hide the real murder method. Dan called everyone to the cabin that Saturday night. Lila, Tommy, Becky, Gus, Rosie, even Mrs. Wilkins. Tension thick enough to cut. This wasn't robbery, Dan said. Harlan was poisoned slow. The killer wanted him weak first. Fingers pointed everywhere. Tommy, Becky got the whole damn fortune. Becky, you needed cash for your poker debts. Gus, Lila wanted freedom. Lila, I loved the stubborn fool. Dan raised a hand. Y'all are looking at the wrong picture. He held up the notebook. Harlan wrote this. He knew he was being poisoned. He planted clues to flush the thief out. Gus was stealing, sure, but small time. He turned to Rosie. She'd been silent, eyes down. Rosie, Dan said softly. You were in the cabin hours before you found him. Harlan had cameras installed last month. Paranoid as hell. He played grainy footage on his laptop, Rosie pouring powder into Harlan's evening whiskey. Night after night. Rosie didn't run. Just sighed. He was my father. Never acknowledged me. My mom raised me alone in a trailer while his kids got everything. I took the job to get close. Started small, wanted him to suffer like we did. Then, I couldn't stop. Cuffs clicked on her wrists. But she smiled, small, bitter. You got the wrong end, Sheriff. Go look in the basement. The real show's down there. Dan led the group down creaky stairs. Locked steel door. He kicked it open. There sat Harlan Thorpe, alive. Thin, unshaven, chained to a pipe. Alive and furious. The body upstairs? Earl Thorpe, Harlan's younger brother, a drifter nobody'd seen in 15 years. Harlan tracked him down, promised a big payout to help with the problem. Switched clothes, switched places one night. Earl drank the poisoned whiskey meant for Harlan. Harlan waited till Earl died, then stabbed the corpse, trashed the place, hid in the basement to watch the chaos. Plan was to pin it on Rosie, collect double insurance, disappear with a new identity. But Rosie figured it out faster than he expected. She found the basement hideout, locked him in, kept feeding him just enough to stay alive while she played the grieving maid and watched the family tear itself apart. Harlan rasped. She was gonna let me rot. Then collect whatever was left. Dan shook his head. You killed your own brother in cold blood, faked your death, framed an innocent woman. Well, mostly innocent. For money. In the end, Harlan got life for Earl's murder. Rosie got 15 years for poisoning and false imprisonment. The family inheritance? Tied up in court for years. Gus paid back what he stole and quietly left town. Tommy and Becky? Barely spoke again. Elm Creek still tells the story on summer nights around bonfires. About the summer the richest man in town died, then came back to life, only to wish he hadn't. Trust in that little town? Buried deeper than Earl ever got.